Hey guys!
Hey, how are y'all today?
Last time we didn't introduce ourselves, so I'm Chase.
And I'm Lori.
And we're a mother-daughter crafting duo that is trying something a little bit different today. So if this turns sideways, just know it's our first time, but we're excited to try something new. And we are gonna be wrapping,
Let me move my phone.
we're gonna be wrapping old books in fabric just to make them, give them a spruce. And we didn't have pretty fabric. You could definitely, get pretty fabric from the thrift store, from the fabric store, but we actually took a sheet and we kind of made do with what we had, which is,
What we do, we're repurposed. We like to reuse what we own.
So I'll show you my fabric here up close, because I don't think you can see it's literally anything back there. But this is literally a bed sheet. You can see where it's faded into the white. I use vintage furniture paint, fresh celery with a ton of water to kind of stain this fabric without it getting stiff. And then I also used an Iron Orchid stamp roller to get the pattern you see there. I'm planning on layering and kind of, layering over this, so the base wasn't extremely important.
And I did the same, but I stamped mine with butterflies with Iron Orchid stamps. So we use Mallory teal and fresh celery for the vintage furniture paint colors.
And I have to say that this stamp roller intimidated me a little bit, but we have this on our site and I was a little bit worried about it because the roller is like directly on to like the stamp. I don't know, they're really close together, so I was a little bit nervous about using it. But I rolled out my paint and it was really, really easy, even on fabric. I think if you had a harder surface too, it'd be even easier. But it made the prettiest consistent pattern. I only had to load my roller once. Super, super easy. But
And it was easy to clean. Whoops, sorry.
it's wet.
It's a little wet. It was easy to clean as well.
Yeah,
So I was worried about that.
This foam is like super spongy, so literally you don't even have to take it apart. You bring it under the sink and I just squeegeed it out. It was super, super easy. But these are under our stamp section. And we have two different patterns, but I thought this was fun. And it turned out good. I was like, wow, this would be perfect for a backsplash or something.
Okay, so.
We're doing it. We're doing it live as the.
Okay, so the first thing we did, which we briefly talked about yesterday in our live, was we took two books. They can be old books, they can be new books. These are just some cookbooks that I had. And the first thing you want to do is paint your book cover. So the reason for painting that is because you want to use when we put our fabric on the Mod Podge, we don't want what was under the book to bleed through the fabric. Mm-hmm. So we wanted the book to be a solid color. So even if you're using darker fabric, you still want to paint your book because you don't want what is on the cover of the book to show.
Yeah, the Mod Podge kind of shears your fabric out a little bit, and you want to use something thin, like thin fabric regardless, to do this project. So we just prepped our books by painting them with vintage furniture paint, vintage white.
Yeah. The other thing you want to do when you're looking for a book is to use a book, because we're going to show you part of the technique is to show you when you cover this book, you want to tuck it down into this center bind. So you want to make sure that that is open and you have a spot that you can tuck your fabric into. So that's the only criteria about the book. Hard cover and a center bind.
This little gap is what we're talking about. And yeah, hard cover and then primed with paint.
Okay, so.
Sorry, I'm going to tuck this paper so you guys don't hear it rustling the whole time. This is Mom's dining table, so we've covered it in paper, as you can see, to not stain her dining table. Okay, there you go. So I have to cut my fabric. Mom already pre-sized her fabric, but I figured I'd show you guys mine actually doing it. So I'm going to put my book here, and this is a recent trick that I have learned, that if you just make a small cut in your fabric and you rip the fabric, it's much easier and you actually get a much straighter line. Now I have a straight line, and I have something that's a little bit softer for when I glue down my edges. It doesn't look like a harsh line. Okay. And I'm going to take my fabric. You want to leave about 2 inches extra around your entire book. So I'm going to take my fabric like this and fold it over, measure in the same place. So I'm going right down this line here. This is the not exciting part, but I figured I'd show you. Goodness gracious. There we go. side. And then the last thing that I need to do is decide how long I need this piece of fabric. Fold it here. I'll make a little snip down here. Okay. All right, Mom, you can take the show away with your Mod Podge.
So Chase and I don't know, did you mention that we've never done this before?
I think I started with that, but there's more people here now. We've never done this before. We saw it as like an idea that we wanted to try and share with you guys, and it's Thursday night, which is our Friday this week, and so we just wanted to have some fun.
And part of crafting is experimenting and trying new things, because again, even if we make a mistake, we're going to learn something today, and the next time we do it, it's going to be better and better. So that's what I would not have taught myself woodworking had I never just tried. And I made mistakes, but I learned from the mistakes. So.
All right. We're both on Mod Podge step now. I just wanted to show you if you were going to cut fabric, that's the easiest way to do it. If you do any kind of sewing or quilting, you probably know that. All right.
Okay, so I got my... Okay, so you lay your book out, and if you need to trim some, because I can tell already that I've got too much overhang, but that's all right. So I can trim mine back a little too. So I thought I had mine cut to size, but I need to take some of this off the bottom.
Yeah, I'm gonna start painting. We're using out of a giant ridiculous tub of Mod Podge, so ignore that. You don't need this big of a tub of Mod Podge. Unless you're like a veteran crafter, then by all means. I'm just gonna use a regular paintbrush here, and I'm gonna start coating the front cover of my book. So I'm just painting a thick layer on my book here. A tip that we learn but don't have to do is to rubber band your pages together, just so you don't get them stuck together. We're gonna kind of work around that today. So if you don't have rubber bands, I guess you can do what we're doing, but. And these are gonna be really cute. This is kind of the I guess not as fun part, is actually decorating them once we get them wrapped, which I'm gonna be doing some fun molds and stamping today. So I'm gonna flip my book down like this, and that part is gonna stick to the fabric, and then I'm going to I'm gonna leave this shut and do the other side and then wrap the fabric. Mod Podge is easy, pretty easy if you've never done it, and it's fun to do on furniture. You can do it on a ton of different things.
Yeah, and Chase and I are really gonna get, I love decoupage, and so we're getting some new, gonna be carrying some new decoupage papers and stuff, so I'm really excited about that, because there's so many different projects you can do with decoupage. So.
And if you stay tuned until the end, we have a new product launch that is live on our website that we're really excited about. We'll be talking about that and actually showing the kits. So I'm gonna take my fabric and I'm gonna start smoothing it down onto my book. The glue is wet, you'll feel it through the actual book here, and you'll feel it basically smooth. I'm gonna flip it over to this side. And with thin fabric, it's actually pretty easy to not get wrinkles and like bubbles and things in your fabric. I can tell I need a little bit more glue on this one piece, so it's okay to peel it back up and just go again. But if you have seen the like Pinterest books of little like decorative books on fireplaces and bookshelves, these are really cute for that. How is everybody this afternoon, by the way? We haven't even asked you guys. We're just crafting away.
So, the next step we're going to cut is, we're going to do our bind. So, what you want to do is take your scissors. I'm going to just open my book up here so it's flat. And, whoops, a little thing came off. Okay, so then you just take your scissors and you need to snip, like I'm going to try to show you from this side. Snip right where your center bind in your book is. So you want to snip it to where you will have a little piece on each corner. So again, it may be a little bit difficult to see, but when I stand the book up, I'll show you how I cut it. Let me cut this side and then I'll show you.
Yeah, so we're just making 2 snips right where the bind is, because that little hole that we were talking about is super important to have on your book in between your bind. We're actually going to tuck the fabric away there, so it's going to look like this fabric basically came this way. Not the fabric, this book basically came this way.
If you can see this, this is the little bind part that we just cut. So we just snipped on both sides. So then I'm going to take and tuck that down into the back of the book that we were talking about. And I don't know why my glue, this is part of why this glue.
Since I have extra fabric where my bind is, I just cut about 1 inch of fabric off of there so I can tuck it a lot easier. And I'm going to, it's a little tricky at first to get it
Started.
Yeah, to get it started, but once it's in there, it's a little bit easier.
And you can take your scissors and take and tuck it in.
And we're experienced DIY people, but this is our first time doing this particular craft, so we're excited. Perfect. Okay. Got one side of mine done here. I'm gonna completely flip my book around and you'll see what I've done. See how that centerpiece is now missing? It's actually tucked into the bind of my book.
And mine as well. So on that side, I'm gonna do this side. I'm just taking the tip of my little scissor to help me tuck it in.
And we're kind of following some like a educational tutorial that we watch, but I would actually recommend to do this part first and then glue my fabric onto my pages, because I'm noticing that my fabric is coming off of my pages just because of all the movement that goes along with tucking this little piece into your bind.
Or glue it and let it dry, and then we're gonna then tuck this part, because again, mine as well, I keep adding more glue. But I think if you let it dry and then you come back and you tuck that part in. So now both ends are tucked in. I'm gonna open my book up. And I'm gonna take and we're gonna snip on a 45-degree angle on all 4 corners. So it can be folded in. So I'm just cutting little corners, 45-degree corners off of each side of the fabric.
Yeah, you're gonna be so surprised how seamless this looks. Well, that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for seamlessness. Have you guys decoupaged before? Do you like decoupaging? I really enjoy it. Mom is like a diehard decoupage person. She loves putting on furniture. I think it's fun. I think it can add a kind of texture and painted aspect, especially if you're using pretty printed fabrics, to any kind of piece, whether it's a book or a dresser.
I'm putting more glue. I'm not happy with it because I've moved it around too much. So if you let yours dry, it will not come off. We're trying to rush this process.
Mom likes to work quick. I'm over here like I'm just hanging out. So I'm like, how are you guys? What are you guys doing? But you are a quick crafter. But yeah, definitely I would do my pages. Looking back, like now that we've actually got to wrap these, I would do my glue. I would glue my page down a second, because it just is, you have too much movement going on.
Okay. Now I'm gonna take, and on my inside cover, I'm gonna put my glue and fold my corners over. So I'll show you that.
Oh, I'm sorry, my brush. I left my brush in the Mod Podge.
And you're probably wondering, I'm covering this whole page, and I'm gonna show you why. I'm covering the whole interior of this page here in just a second. But, so you cover the whole front and back interior of your book cover. And when you use these little chip brushes, the bristles sometimes fall out, so just pull that off. So then I'm gonna take and I'm gonna wrap my corner over, push it down. Then the little corner I cut, I'm gonna wrap the bottom here, push it down. And what this does, and then I'm gonna wrap this little corner. So if you see,
Can I borrow your scissors? I think yours are a little bit easier to work with than mine.
yeah, those will cut better. So if you see, it looks neat like that. So I hope you can see that, because I'm trying not to lift the book a lot. But it looks very neat, it looks finished. But what you do then, the reason I covered that whole interior is I'm gonna take, in every book you have a page that's just a blank page. So I'm gonna take that blank page and I'm gonna push it over.
Look at her.
And by doing that, you get this finished interior. I took my little corner right there. But you get this finished interior. So when you open the book, even though it's covered in fabric or decoupage fabric, the interior looks pretty as well.
I spend half my time searching for things.
Let me take.
I lost my scissors right in front of me.
Tuck my corner one more time here. There we go. And that little corner needed a little more.
And you can, like, we didn't have, you know, the fabric like we were talking about, but if you have an old sheet and you have, you know, Iron Orchid stamps and ink and you want to stamp fabric, you definitely can. And the vintage furniture paint works if you water it down. So it actually worked out pretty well.
Many of you probably sew and have a surplus of fabric, but you can also, you don't want your fabric to be too thick, but you can go to Joann's and coordinate to whatever your decor colors are. So, and there's some pretty fabrics out there, some farmhouse, some country, some boho.
Just make sure that they are thin fabrics.
Okay.
It won't work with like upholstery fabric, it'll get too thick.
Yeah, you don't want anything too thick. Okay, so that front part is completely covered, and now I'm gonna do the back. I am gonna put my glue back on.
You guys are turned sideways today, so I can't see the names of who's watching. So say hey, we'll be able to see who's here with us. We needed a little bit more room, so we had to turn our angle.
And I'm gonna do my interior of my bag. Cover my whole book. I hope you can see. It's kind of.
Someone said they love this idea. Thank you for
Working.
sharing. What type of glue are you using? We're using Mod Podge. It's in a gigantic tub, but you can get it at like any local craft store, Walmart, anything like that. Yeah, it was fun. It's been fun. Exciting time trying it out. I can't wait to embellish mine. That's like the best part for me, is being able to actually add things to it. So I'm doing the same thing that Mom just did. I'm gonna seal this in, and it literally looks like this book came wrapped this way, which is just the coolest thing.
Left little corner. Now I need to come back.
See, so now my front is done, and my page is sealed. I've never seen one this big before.
Seen what?
The book, I know, this book is literally, it's a vintage cookbook. It's literally huge. Oh, you're talking about the Mod Podge container. Yeah, I don't know Mom, where'd you get your huge Mod Podge container?
I buy them at Hobby Lobby, but they never put it on sale. So I buy the big one because you can use 40% off coupon. So it makes it a better deal.
Yeah, never buy anything at Hobby Lobby full price. If you learn anything from this today, never get anything full price.
If you're gonna get 40% off, go for the big jug.
Yep, saves you the most money. Also, we've been, really into DIY crafting videos recently, and always check out the clearance section of Hobby Lobby because, we're even probably going to do some, revamping makeovers here using just things that are from the clearance section, because you can always paint over it, and if it's $1 or $5 or under, go for it. If you need it. Don't, because I'm probably going to be buying all the stuff I don't need. If you missed when Mom did this, I'm just cutting 45-degree angles out on my book pages, and that's so we don't have all this extra fabric that doesn't have anywhere to go whenever I fold my pages in. I have a little bit more fabric than I would like, so I'm gonna snip about a ½ inch off, maybe closer to an inch.
This is a wet cloth, so just get any cloth and wet it. And what it does is you rub it across, it helps you get any little bubbles out, which I really don't have bubbles, but I'm just getting, because we didn't iron our fabric. You probably should iron your fabric, but
we have painted our fabric, so yeah.
I am just rubbing it in, and it'll make it a smooth finish.
Come on.
My little, tuck this little part back. But I swear, it makes it look like the book came this way. It's amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait to flip mine up here. I'm so excited. I'm like, let me get this thing glued down.
Let's tuck this little part right there.
Are you guys in Gainesville? Because if you're in Gainesville right now, it sounds like a storm is coming. If you can hear that, that is thunder. It's not a day in Florida if it doesn't rain. Or if it's not 100 degrees. Yeah, I'm going to show you mine here in a second. I'm going to pop it up. But this was super easy and fun. And the books are still functional if you don't cover them in Mod Podge like I have, the actual papers. But you'll just have pretty mantle books or books for a bookshelf, and you can still use them. How's yours turning out?
Perfect. Look at that. I'm gonna put.
So cute, and I love your butterfly print. It's very boho.
Yes. Let me put that. Walk up here.
We have to do the walk around. You guys are like,
I guess
6 feet away from us.
we're surprised it worked out so well, but that's how. Look at that. You can't. It looks like it came that way. It's tucked
beautiful.
in, and I'm gonna quit touching it because my glue needs to dry. But we took a bed sheet. We painted it with a little bit of fresh celery, watered down paint, and then I stamped mine with iron orchid and Mallory teal.
Yep, the iron orchid stamps are called butterflies.
And again, you can make your own fabric, or you can pick up a pretty piece, but it's super simple.
This is the most fun part to me, so we want to show you guys. I'm coating my pages here, or my book one last time in Mod Podge, and then I'm going to take this page, which all books come with a blank front and back, and you just put it down, and it literally is the perfect finish to your project. You're in Newberry, it hasn't gotten there yet. It's really dark and stormy here. Hopefully it doesn't work that way.
No, it's by I-75, it looks like now.
But, so here's mine. I had a little tiny oopsie, but hey, we're all human. So if you have an oopsie too, it's okay. And this, I'm going to do more to my book. So if you're here and you're like, I want to see more, there will be more. But, I need to take this rag and smooth mine out.
Yeah, just a wet rag, and what it does is it allows the glue it waters it back down a little and allows the wrinkles to smooth out.
But here's mine, and I made this fabric, like Mom said, we made our fabric using vintage furniture paint and an old sheet. Just water down your paint, and then I used an iron orchid rolling stamp, which is listed on our site under the stamps, with Mallory teal, and I just rolled my stamp out. But I cannot believe, first of all, I can't believe we made this fabric. Second of all, it looks so good.
And the interior, it'll dry, and I never realized that the books have 2 blank pages on the front and the back.
Right.
So.
You learn something new every day.
So.
Are you doing anything else to your book?
No, mine's done.
Oh, I'm going to add some stuff to mine.
Chase, more is more. Chase loves she's going to embellish away, stamp away.
More is more.
More with hers. But I did want to show you before you leave us today, a project that I did right before we came on.
Here, I'm just going to be working while Mom's talking. If you guys are interested in how to do, well, maybe I should. Are you guys interested in how to do the molds? Because I can go through a little tutorial if you guys want to.
Okay, what I wanted to show you that I did before we came on was this was some artwork that I had left over from the store. So it said 1, 2, 3, and nobody cared about the 1, 2, 3. So, but it was so instead of just getting rid of them, I decided to repurpose them. So today, what I did was take some of the iron orchid transfers. I'm trying to scoop down so I can see it, and I made new artwork. So I used the lights on that. I used the wallflower transfer. I used the Kindest Regards stamp.
Yeah, the font is the Kindest Regards stamp. The flowers are the what is it called? Wallflower.
Wallflower, and I used our butterfly stamp in the middle. I hope you can see with that light. And then
it looks good.
I did this one again. I stamped the back with the Kindest Regards.
Trying to get there.
Yeah, can you see? And so when you get these transfers, you can cut them all apart. There's still a lot of this transfer left. So they are 24 by 33, and they either run horizontal or vertical. But you don't have to use them all together. You can cut them apart, and you can take and do you can do artwork. You can just do so many different projects in your home. So I just wanted to show you. If you have a picture that you hate, don't yard sell it for $1. Make it over.
Yeah, make it over, and you can layer. So this was a stamp first, you wait for the stamp to dry, and then we added the transfer, and then she went back and stamped some more. So you can really layer once you get the Iron Orchid stamps and molds are reusable, and the transfers, unless you're doing a large piece of furniture, you'll have some left over. So keep your, you'll have your arsenal of products here to, once you get, your stamps and your molds, and you'll be able to just add and layer your products.
But when you're layering, just to point out one thing, if you do this at home, let your first layer, if it's a stamp, let it dry, because your transfer needs to be applied to a dry surface. So once my kindness regards all the little words dried, then I put my transfer on, and then everything was dry, and then I came back and I stamped, and I used Red Daisy vintage furniture paint, and I stamped the butterflies that are on them. So.
Francis said great idea, and Holly said she loves it.
Thank you. I can't see the screen. So.
I told Mom that she should turn her volume down and put her phone next to her so she could read the things, because you guys are about 6 feet away from us, and I'm like squinting. If you see me squinting, I'm just trying to read what's going on. So I am going to take I'm going to use Iron Orchid mold in trimmings. We have trimmings 1 and trimmings 2. We are waiting. Both of these are going to be restocked. We have one of trimmings 1 left. So if you like this mold and you want to snag the last one, we do have one left, but we're getting more in. And I'm going to take cornstarch, which just makes your life so easy if you're going to pop the molds out. You just take a little bit of cornstarch on a brush and you just fill in the mold. You don't even have to dust the excess out. We actually found that it works better if you don't. And I'm going to then fill this with clay. Our clay is just like Play-Doh, and it dries pretty quick. This is we keep our sealed in a Ziploc bag once we've opened it, because you don't want it to dry out once you've invested in your products here.
That'd be pretty if you painted colored too.
So I think I'm going to. Yeah. See, I'm excited. Mom might be embellishing hers before in a few minutes, because I'm telling you, more is more, and it's just fun. So I am taking my clay, and I'm working it a little bit. One of these was just a little dry from being in the bag, but I'm going to start pressing this into my mold just with your fingers. If you've ever played with Play-Doh, you can do this. It's super, super easy, and it's fun if you have kids and they can be, playing and doing stuff while you're also crafting. And these are reusable and food safe. If you any bakers out there who like doing fondant and chocolate and that kind of stuff, you can put those in here. I might should have taken those little dry pieces out, because they're proving to be a little bit harder to work with than I expected.
That's the piece that I rolled and didn't use that we put back.
Yeah.
But the other exciting news, if you saw this morning when I made my post, is I received 2 boxes. I have another box or so coming of the salt wash. So we're going to be, Chase has already added it to the Homebody website. So we started playing around with it today, and I can show you what Chase is working on her little clay mold.
You're going to do the, or you want to show the kit, or you want to show how I did it first? Let's show how we did it first. Okay. Mom will do a little show and tell while I'm working, because
again, these were left over from the store, and I had bought a bunch of them, but they have mason jar, and I don't know, it seems like people lost interest in the mason jar stuff. But if you have not and you're interested, I have a bunch of them, believe me. But what Chase did was, I'm going to come up and I can show you close. We took the salt wash.
Yeah, I wanted to put the cord in so you guys could see that it was a light, because it kind of just looks like.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see this?
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So that's Mallory Teal and Old Rust, which are 2 of the vintage furniture paint colors. So you add a little bit, very little bit. So when you get your salt wash, it'll do lots of projects. But you add just a little bit of salt wash to any paint. So you can use any paint you have, even if it's a crafting paint at home. And so to make it look either like patina, rust, chippy paint.
Oh,
so we're going to be doing, whoops, let me look. No.
Sorry guys, we're multitasking here, but I wanted to show you while my mold was out that it, come around. You're too far away, guys. You have to walk closer. I'm knocking things over here. Here. That light is just a little bright. Let me turn this down.
I can't see. I ain't getting by that.
Here we go. Oh, it's white on white, so it's not showing. It's raining out. Okay, there we go. You can kind of see. The mold is beautiful texture. Once I paint it, you'll be able to see it so clear. It'll be easy peasy to tell.
Okay, so this was glass, so you can use the salt wash. You can use it on glass, you can use it on wood. well, you can take a dresser that is brand new, and it's an easy process. So you just add a little bit of salt wash to it, and to any paint, and then you put a couple of layers of paint, but it gives it, once you sand it off, it has a little bit of texture to it. So it gives it that look of like 100 years of paint and chippy and
or rust, if you
or
want that
rust
look.
or patina. And also I started working on, you can put a little bit in a spray bottle, and you can take any kind of glass jar. You know, everybody gets gifted flowers that come in vases that you don't want. They're just plain vases. You can spray it and you can make it, those look like sea glass. So I started doing that, but it did not dry before we started. But I wanted to show you, if you order it, what it's gonna look like. So
And this is the Salt Wash Faux Effect Kit.
Yes. So it comes in this kit. I'm gonna open it up and show you what you get.
We're doing a little unboxing. It's a 2-for-1. I'm crafting, she's unboxing. We're just hanging out.
Okay. And I'm gonna go up in front of this side.
Sorry for all the paper noises. I'm making paper noise with the paper on the table.
Okay, so sorry then. Okay, so you're gonna get this kit. And that light looks bright. You're gonna.
Yeah, it shows better from back here because the light is
Okay,
so
so
close to it.
I can't see. Okay, let me go back here.
Mom, you should put your readers on. Mom wears readers.
Yeah, they're on my head. I wear them on my head all the time because they help me up close, but they don't help me up far. So I hope you can see the box, but I'm gonna show you. So when you get your little kit,
We'll be posting more about this. We'll be doing more tutorials. So if you're a little like, what is that? We'll be doing more.
you're gonna get this cute little. And what I love about this company is the packaging is beautiful, but it's also very informational. So you're gonna get your little mixing cup, and it tells you on the side of it how to mix it. It tells you 1 scoop, 2 scoops of, depending on how much paint you're using. So they make it super simple for anybody. They also, okay, in here, this is your container of the salt wash powder. So inside this, there is the scoop that you need. So when they tell you 1 scoop, this is not science, and Chase and I have watched a few tutorials, but they do tell you, if you're concerned, you want to make it look like
Frosting.
Yeah, frosting. It's going to look like frosting, but they give you the exact measurements. So you'll
And
have
just one quick thing. Our website, thehomebody.com, BODI.com. It's linked in the description if you're interested in this video, and it'll be a little bit easier to access once this video is published and live. But these kits are $29.99, but it gets everything that she's talking about in it. And our homepage has a new launch product banner on it, and you can click the shop now button. It'll take you right to it. If you're having a little bit of trouble finding it that way, just use our shop tab, and there'll be a tab there. Sorry, I just want to let them know if they're interested.
Oh no, that's fine. So inside the kit, you're going to get 2 chip brushes, and you're going to get a little sanding block. Okay. And I'll be honest with you, this will do a lot of projects. So if you're doing a dresser, you're going to want to use a lot more sandpaper than this. But
Like a rougher grid.
But this they put in there for little small projects. Chase did use this, and on her little light fixture that she gave the patina to. So, but anyway, they give it so you won't, if you want to get started when you get it, you can get started right away. And I love this because inside it is this handy dandy user's manual that is super easy. So on each page, they tell you how to make these colors of,
Yeah, like how to make
Yeah.
each finish, and they
Yeah.
tell you exactly how to do it.
yeah. So if you wanted to do rust or chippy paint, they tell you how to get even the old rust color, which is, I'll show you right here. I'll get to the right page. But this is a very useful little tool. So you may be intimidated at first, and I told Chase, really, it's super easy, and she and I both said the thing that you'll have to get used to is how to mix the colors that you want to get the look you want. But they do tell you how to get rust, how to get the patina. But on furniture, if you want your chippy paint to be red, blue, and green, you just do what you want with that. But so this tool is super useful, and
I'm just
Yeah.
adding, my mold is wet still, but I put a little bit of wood glue on it. I put it on my spine, and now I'm just going to continue to paint it with Mallory Teal. And I've just kind of been moving along over here, but that's what I'm doing. I'm just painting my mold. You can paint them, just be gentle. But yeah, we're super excited about the salt wash. Do you guys want to see, we have a piece of furniture that we think we're going to do with salt wash. Do you want to see furniture first? What kind of like looks do you want to see? If you've already tried it, do you like it? Because we're excited to use it, and we're going to transform. We have a really beautiful piece.
Yeah, and layering the colors is what makes it so
We should probably throw a tarp over because it's in the back of Mom's truck and it's about to rain.
We gotta get it out. We gotta get it out. Hurry.
Hurry! We'll put a tarp over it. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah, we got
Just
a beautiful
just
piece
throw
of furniture
the tarp
today.
over it.
So,
If you put it over the truck bed side, the rain will run right off.
yeah, a beautiful heavy piece of furniture that is
Solid wood.
Yeah, that has a bow curved front, and one of my neighbors had bought it when she was young. She's my age, from her friend's mother. So it's a very, very old piece, and it's solid cherry, but it's heavy. So
That rain's coming. We might want to do that. Put the tarp on it.
yeah, I'm gonna let Chase talk. I'm gonna go out and try to keep my furniture.
Yeah, we need to throw a thing over it. Sorry guys, this is live, so we just realized we're like, oh my goodness, there's a storm coming. We have furniture going. But I'm gonna continue to embellish this book. I'm actually really excited. I wanted to do a little bit more to mine. So you can see I've added this like beautiful scroll spine to it. And I am actually going to then dry brush over that. I'm gonna bring a little bit of this paint onto this book, and I'm just gonna have fun. I am definitely more is more. If you've seen my last videos, then you know I'm just all about adding more. If anybody else, you know, make me feel good. If anybody else has the don't know when to stop trait on their crafting projects, let me know, because sometimes I feel like it's just me, but sometimes it works out in my favor a lot of the time. But if you also don't know when to stop, feel free to comment below, because that it can be a blessing and a curse depending on what you're doing. But it's so quiet now. I'm used to doing this by myself, but I've convinced Mom in the last 2 videos to film with me, and she hasn't. It's been a lot of fun. So it's nice to have someone to talk to. But we're so excited about salt wash. We wanted to like preview that while we're crafting here and doing these projects, because we got our order in today, and it's, you know, it's like Christmas whenever you get a FedEx package, and it wasn't supposed to come till this afternoon. Mom actually got it last night around 9 o'clock, which I couldn't even believe they would be delivering that late, but they were, and she was super excited and texted me a picture late last night that it was outside and that we could do stuff today. So we played around with the lamps and like the finishes, but we were excited to do a big piece. We're gonna turn a big piece into like a piece of art. And vote for colors. So we're thinking these are the 2 color schemes we're gonna go with. So vote below what you think, or vote in the comments what you think what you would like to see more in a dresser. So it's gonna be a large dresser, has a matching nightstand, so I guess we could do them both matching. But we were thinking either a bright, we're gonna be layering and like 2-toning, so we're thinking either a bright green or a bright green into a brighter blue, or even doing, they're all kind of blues, or doing like a kind of sea kind of colors, like teals and that kind of thing. Those were our different options. I actually need to, I'm going to rinse my little chip brush out really quick. This is actually one of the ones that comes in the salt kit. I forgot we used it for Mod Podge. I need it for paint, so I will be back if you guys will hold on just 2 seconds. I'm gonna rinse this off, and I'm gonna be dry brushing my book. It's gonna be so cute. All right, guys, I'm back. It was 2 seconds. Sorry, I had to run really quick. Hey, Leslie. Okay, so I'm taking, my brush is just a little wet, so I'm gonna brush it off really quick. Let me move some of this stuff. Could we get anything else on the table? I literally don't think we could. So I've painted my beautiful detailed mold that I added to the bind of this book, and now I want that color to blend in, so I'm going to take that Mallory teal and I'm going to pull it onto the corners of my book, and I'm actually probably going to stamp over this as well, and then we'll be done. But I wanted to do some fun kind of layering to my book. I'm going to keep it standing up like this. It's working for me, so if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm going to do kind of a dry brushing technique, which we did a video on yesterday. I'm going to take just a little bit of paint on my brush here, and I'm going to dust it off, and then I'm going to start working in the area that I want to add the paint. So I'm gonna blend my seam of my book and my mold together, and that's why I wanted to use the same kind of color here. I do want to go back and layer and add a little bit more to the mold, but is it safe?
Oh, tarp.
It's tarped. The furniture is tarped. Woo! It was literally about to pour here. If you're in Gainesville, it's raining.
And lightning.
Yes. If you're not in Gainesville, where are you watching from? We had someone watching, a few people from High Springs and stuff last time. If you're out of state, that would be even cooler. See how pretty this is turning out?
I love the bind on it.
See, I'm blending my color. It'll be a little bit easier to show once I keep going. I told them I was going to add stamps too. I'm just out. More is more. I asked if anybody else was more is more.
Oh, I forgot to put my cup back.
Sometimes we don't know when to say when. But that's kind of the fun of crafting. It's just paint. You can always change it.
And experimenting. Every time you do a project, you try something different. It's fun. Sometimes I was not believing that idea would work, and it's pretty.
So here is the spine of this that I added that beautiful mold detail to, and you can see I'm taking my color and blending it out. This light is like so bright now that it's stormy out. Okay, so I'm taking, see there you can see the blend now. I'm blending that color out, and I'm gonna take it around these corners too, and I might stamp some in the middle. We're gonna test some things out, and then I'm gonna stamp over my already stamped design. So
I like it.
you like it? Mm-hmm. I was nervous about it. It's something new, you know, you get nervous to try things new, but that's how you learn and change. I can't get my brush quite. I'm gonna pour a little bit of paint onto these. These are little work surfaces that we have from Iron Orchid, and you can put paint and ink and all that kind of stuff on them and then rinse them off. It's probably way too much paint. Vintage furniture paint goes really far. If you're crafting with it, this jar will last you your whole life. Okay, so I'm going to dry brush a little bit.
Ooh, it's lightning.
Lightning. I'm gonna dry brush a little bit, and I'm gonna bring those corners. Oh yeah, Mom has an indoor outdoor cat, and she's super sweet. And she's so hard to get inside, and you're like, hello. And then it starts to rain, and you're like, she's not inside. I have indoor cats. They've escaped before, we've let them out into the yard and stuff before, but they get scared. They don't really like it, so they just stay in. I'm taking that blending that I was doing with my spine, and I am adding that around the other corners, because be careful with your molds. You can paint them when they're wet, but I just hit mine with my hand, and it will kind of mush them. So be careful. A little warning to you. If you work with the Iron Orchid molds, they're super easy to work with though. When I wasn't kidding, when you could craft with your kids and use them, you definitely could. I have a friend who, she does baking, and I'm interested to see if she would do some of the baking, like chocolates and stuff like that with them, because I'm not a baker at all in any way. So here is how my book is turning out. I think it's turning out cute. That's Shop Cat. I was just talking about her.
There she is.
She's a sweet girl. She will get up on here and get everything. I'm continuing that same process on the other side.
You're a good girl.
And dry brushing you can use on the technique on furniture too. It's really easy. It's just basically the art of taking a little bit of paint and feathering it into your other colors or your existing kind of background. Does anyone have any exciting quarantine plans for tonight? Like, how exciting can our plans be? So I want to add some butterflies to mine to kind of stay in the theme with Mom's. Hers is stamped with butterflies. Yeah, but I want to do, I'm pretty sure, oh my goodness, I got paint on my shirt. It's okay, it's not a shirt.
Jen, you have the butterflies?
Yeah, I have the butterfly stamps over here. So I'm going to add butterfly stamps to my book, but I want to do them in black. So I'm just taking an Iron Orchid ink pad. These come completely blank, and you fill them with your ink. Mom's going to grab some inks to show you guys. But you fill them with your ink, and you just keep them closed, and the ink pad, it stays, it stays moist in there, so you don't have to worry about drying out. Ooh, that lightning is bad. Now the question is, guys, what do you think? Should I do black or navy blue? Oh, you have more. Yeah. We have the more butterflies. And this is all from the this is all from the butterfly stamp. There's a Monarch mold that has butterflies on it. That would be beautiful if I was really trying to go crazy with the molds here. But do you think I should do navy blue or black? I'm undecided. What do you think, Mom?
I say white.
White? That's a good idea. Because I was even going to take white and put it on my
I
mold.
say white. It'll be pop.
Okay. Mom says white, and I actually super agree with her. I think that's going to be really cute. I'm also going to take a little bit of white, which is funny she said that because I was thinking about this already. Is taking a little bit of white, and I'm going to pop the detail on my binder, or on my binding.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I'm rolling my book in clay. Don't do that.
Okay, and with the Iron Orchid, this is mixing white, and they also have white that is an erasable chalk. So if you want to do a chalkboard, you can change your sayings and use any of our stamps, so you can spell out with the fonts and use the erasable chalk.
And I smelled this because if
And
you
it
watch,
works the same way. So it goes in the stamp pad, you stamp your letters and spell out anything you want to say.
I smelled this, which you're probably like, why is she smelling that? We did a tutorial, I think it's 2 or 3 videos back if you're interested in, we did bleaching on shirts, and we actually put loaded bleach in one of our pads, so I was making sure it wasn't the bleach one by smelling it. Okay, I'm gonna take this little guy, here you won't be able to see him, but you'll be able to see him on my book, and I'm going to just press down into the ink pad. It's important when you're using your stamps, if you get an entire sheet of them, to leave them on their plastic backing and cut around them. It gives you something to grab onto. It's really hard to get these down into the ink pad and then pick them back up when all you have is actual stamp to work with.
And Chase pats hers down. I take my ink pad and I stamp it like this. So it's up to you how you do it. But having the backing is just so useful so you don't move. That's the most important thing about a stamp, is being able to go straight down and straight up.
Yep.
So by having that little edge left on it, it's stiff and it gives you an easy grab.
So that's exactly what I was gonna say, is go straight down and straight up with your, let me make sure I'm doing this not upside down. Okay, good. I go straight down and straight up with your stamp. So I'm gonna push down, you just tap over the design. I'm just kind of rubbing, but make sure not to move your design or it'll be smeared. And you need, the only tip I can say for stamping is you need more ink than you think you do, and you need to press harder than you think you do. Because I always worry like, oh, I'm gonna make it bleed or whatever. No, it looks so much better if you actually press down. That one's gonna need to be double stamped. He needed more ink. See, it's all in the, I'm always worried I'm not gonna have enough ink, but you really want them saturated. Double stamping butterflies is a little bit easier because you have their antennas to kind of mark your placement. So I'm just gonna realign my antennas and go straight down.
And that does work because I double stamped on my red butterfly. So you just line your 2 antennas up and it's gonna be perfect. Most of the stamping, it's a little bit more difficult to line them up, but
There we go.
yes, that looks pretty.
I'm excited. So I'm gonna do, let me see, I think do I wanna do a big one? I think I do, maybe not the same kind of big one. This is the hardest part when it comes to crafting. It's not the actual crafting, it's the deciding. It's deciding on your colors on your stamp. I love this butterfly. It has a lot of like prominent detail, which I think is going to show up pretty on my fabric, which is a little bit softer than, you know, wood or a picture that you'd be stamping. You can stamp shirts. I did shirts that turned out super cute too. Okay, so here is the little ink on that one. See how saturated it is? It's like completely covered.
And you can stamp with paint, so the only reason we could have used Hampton White and stamped, and you use a brayer and you just roll your stamp, but the ink is readily available and was
A little bit more convenient.
quick.
All right. I had a little bit of red. I had a little bit of red from that guy from the
From mine.
Yeah. Cute.
Super cute.
All right.
And you do want to make sure that you take care of your stamps, so wash them out real good. If you're using ink, they actually have a thing that looks like just like a little Brillo pad thing, but it's like a magic eraser. It comes from Hobby Lobby. It will get the ink off your stamp, but you can use Dawn and water, but you wash them with, whether it's paint or ink, just wash them and make sure it doesn't dry on there.
Here's my little butterflies, guys. I'm gonna put these down, which probably is not the best idea, but
Put them down.
I want to do the other side.
Yeah, but it's not dry.
I'm gonna stamp upwards, I guess, because I want to continue on my project.
Yeah, the ink does paint, because a lot of this paint, the paint dries really quickly, but the ink does take a little bit longer to dry, but the detail is very fine on the ink, so I think it does give you a little more crisp line than using paint, but you can use whatever you have at home, and again, the most important thing is just go straight down and straight up.
Yeah, I don't recommend doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, so
not recommending. But it turned out okay, but I'm not recommending it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put my book down anyway on this side, but there's that guy on that side. But I'm going to paint, I'm just gonna embellish. It's fine. I'm going to embellish what am I trying to say? My molds on my spine with white paint. I don't know if do I have white paint?
Yes.
I think I used the last of the Hampton one.
You can do embellish. You can do it with the ink.
Oh, okay. Well, my paint's wet, so I don't know.
You can do it with this.
It's okay. I'll do it. I don't want to mess up that stamp pad. So I'm just going to take a little bit of vintage white and vintage furniture paint, and I'm going to take this, barely kind of coat this brush here. And you're going to see the detail on the spine pop.
It's so pretty. Really, the detail in this, these, and I know people sometimes they think, well, what would you do with them? If you have a plain piece of furniture, you can embellish your furniture. You can embellish mirrors. You can embellish picture frames. The detail on them is just beautiful.
So I'm going to come up and show you my finished book now. This book is.
It turned out so pretty. I was downing the mold, and it turned out beautiful.
So here's my book. So if you missed the beginning, thanks, Amanda. That's my sister, if you guys are wondering. She's in the comments. So we completely cover these books with fabric, and we then seal them with the blank pages on each side. So if you missed the beginning, definitely go back and watch it. It's super cool. It makes your book look like it was wrapped like this. I went ahead, we actually made this fabric out of bed sheets, which you wouldn't believe now that you've seen it as the finished result. But with vintage furniture paint, you can use it on fabric if you completely water it down. It doesn't get hard or anything like that. And then I used our Iron Orchid stamping roller, which is on our stamp section of our website, which is linked in the description here. And then I used the butterfly stamps to create the butterfly little stamps that you see. And then Mallory Teal is the color that is my mold in the corner of my book. And these are our little books, and we're going to probably put them either like this on a fireplace or bookshelf. But we did go ahead and embellish these, or this will be a pretty coffee table book because ours are patterned.
Yes, you can lay one that way and that way.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah. So.
And then layer them, and then put a little candlestick or something or on top of them.
Make a little vignette.
Yep, so cute. All right, thank you guys so much.
I thought another cute idea, because these were actually cookbooks that I had, but it'd be cute if you found a cute tea towel, a kitchen little tea towel that's cotton. And covered your cookbooks in a little, tea towel or fun saying on them.
Thanks, Amanda. Amanda said she loves how the molds turned out on the spine. I thought it was really a cute idea.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So I'm excited. We're gonna be doing more tutorials, and stay tuned for a salt wash piece. Vote in the comments on the colors. We're thinking about either bright, like kind of electric blue with electric green, or maybe some more muted kind of sea tones. So, or we might do all of it. Who knows?
Add more.
More is more. That's gonna be our new slogan. More is more. But these are the new salt wash kits that are live on our website. They come with everything that you need to completely make something over into patina, rust, chippy paint, like whatever your style is. You'll see on our website. There's pictures that show all different styles, and they come with a tutorial, like a little tutorial book too, which is really helpful.
And they're available on the Homebody.
Yep, $29.99, free shipping. Can't beat it.
Everything
to your house.
And you can do really a little scoop does quite a few projects, but everything you need.
Yep. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope if you're in Gainesville, you're staying dry because it is storming outside, and we appreciate you hanging out. And it might have been a little hectic because we're doing something we haven't done before, but it was fun. And if your hands don't look like this when you're done crafting, you didn't craft right. Bye, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Happy crafting. Oh, one more thing before you guys go. We're saying bye. I added 2 Facebook groups to our Sawdust Dreams Facebook page. One for vintage furniture paint and one for Iron Orchid. They are going to be a group where we can share creative inspiration, share pieces we've done. If you have questions on how to do something or what mediums to use and anything like that, those are going to be the groups for that. And we're really excited to see what you guys are making and get to kind of make our own little community there. So if you're done vintage furniture paint projects, you want to share them, hop on over to that group. If you've done Iron Orchid projects, hop on over to that group and share them there. And we're excited to see what you guys have made. All right. Bye, guys.
Good evening.